Here we are. The challenge today is to strip down the painted parts that are not off on the Harley Davidson Sportster. Got to take off the tank. Already sucked a bunch of fuel out of there. Should be pretty empty. Got to drain the oil and get the oil tank off. This is very different because I'm coming from metric bikes. So that might be interesting. And then we're taking the rear fender off yet. We already got the front fender off. That was 4 bolts, and boom, you're done. And already got the side cover that pops on there off. That is a couple bolts, and they're into these rubber grommets. So of course that's real easy. 3 bolts, and that one actually came out with it. So pretty easy to do that. So let's get into trying to figure this out. It looks like we have 1 bolt here, and then we have these 2, I believe, need to be loosened, and then the wiring and stuff mounted to the rear. Alright, I'm going to tackle draining the oil so we can do that while we're taking other parts apart. But to be perfectly honest, relieve the pressure from the oil so it drains out from the oil tank. And then it looks like we have one, this line goes under the starter, so I'm assuming that goes into the engine. That's probably our full in. And then the other line right there looks a little bit bigger, and that's probably our return into the tank, which I've never worked on a bike with a separate oil tank, so it's interesting. But that one goes, looks like we follow it to the other side of the motorcycle. It looks like it flows down here, and you can actually see he's dripping some oil right here. So pretty good bet that that's what we're doing. So this comes down into a T, probably a return line this way, and then everybody's talking about a drain plug that comes out of a tube, and it looks like this bike has been plugged by this frame. What is that? Frame mount here. So it looks like if I take off that clamp right there, that's probably going to drain the oil out. Now, I would recommend he get this set up better. I don't know why that's leaking there, but it looks like it is. And I'm getting puddles on my floor, so I assume his engine may not be leaking. Way to go, Harley. 1994 Sportster. But it looks like if oil's leaking here, I can probably undo this. And that doesn't go anywhere. That is just into, as far as I can tell, into a frame mount. So I guess that's plugging it up. So I'm going to pull that off, and hopefully we get oil out of it. Well, it sure looks like we're getting oil out of there. And let me show you here. I see why this might be leaking. Let's see if I can, because it swivels on here, and actually it might not be on there too tight. Anyway, I'm not going to mess with that because I'm getting oil out. So I'll just show you this plug on the 1994. Just basically a plug sitting there. Get a little light on it for you. See, that's where that hose was sitting. Guess it works well. Looks like it has a little bit of a lip on the outside. You slide your oil hose on there. I have never seen anything like this. Sorry, Harley guys. Honda, Yamaha, none of those guys do this. Kawasaki. Yeah, we have a drain plug, we have a filter. You guys don't have a drain plug, you have a hose that gets plugged. Alright, I'm gonna let this drain and work on the rear fender. Okay, my peeps. First things first, get your lefty-loosey, righty-tighties figured out before you get into this. These 2 bolts that I showed you, these guys. Yep. That sucker. 1/2-inch bolt on the inside. Sorry. 1/2-inch nut on the inside. Most of which you can get to with, get yourself a ratcheting wrench. So you can just hold it on there and get in there. This last one right here, I had to use this because it was just too tight to get in there. But 1/2 inch, and this guy, the Allen key, was 3/16. Yep, 3/16. You're not gonna read that. Oh, look at that. You can read it. All right, so you take those two out. Then you also have to take off the turn signal because that's through the fender also. Still have a 1/2 inch nut on the inside, and you're gonna turn that thinking it's gonna pop right off, and then you're gonna realize it holds this housing on. So you're gonna turn that until the housing is back far enough here to reveal a studded nut right here that is actually 5/8. Probably can show you on this one. See, that housing comes back, and then there's a stud on there that you have to hold before you can get the nut off the inside. So there you go. And if you turn this one, it just spins because you have to hold the bolt on the other end. At least I do. And I can't get that, I think, until I free up the fender to actually reach in there, because I cannot get my hand in around the tire. Maybe if I had this up in the air, maybe the suspension would be loose, I could reach in there, but right now this will not come off. So I'm gonna work on getting this off yet, and I'll be back. So we can see here, I turned it on the inside enough with my small 1/2 inch wrench because I can't get the ratcheting one in there to relieve the housing. And now this can slide out. Whew. Slide out there. And there is the, what did I say? 5/8 stud that I have to hold and then turn the 1/2 inch nut on the inside to free this guy up. Well, it's pretty easy to tell. This took me forever to figure out how to do this. And I'm pretty sure I don't even know how to get it back in once I need to. But I finally got the 1/2 inch nut off of here. And I had to squeeze a ratchet with an extension with a wobble with a socket. Oh, finally. Sweet release. I had to squeeze it inside the fender. Oh my gosh, there she is. So yeah, not only was it the two guys here, and then this turning, and then this, and then it was, see, I have that motorcycle lift over there, but when I actually got it underneath here to release the pressure for the wheel to drop down so I could get in behind there, it apparently doesn't work. So I think if I could have jacked the bike up that the rear could relax a bit, I think I could have got underneath here. So that's probably the way you need to do it. All my bikes have center stands, at least all the ones I've worked on so far. So I've never had to use my jack, and then when I did, it doesn't work. So anyway, this should be free all except for the wiring here. So basically, oh yeah, my flashlight was in there. Good job, flashlight. You got the job done. So basically, all I need to do is release the wiring. I'm not exactly sure where, so I'm going to do that and then I'll show you. Well, we can see right here we have black wire, blue, and looks like a red wire with a yellow stripe. And they all feed directly into here, so it looks like a quick little release of the pin. You don't want to hold the wire. Release the pin and come on, buddy. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now that should go down. just fine. There we go. There we go. Oh, look at that. Here we go. Okay. Fender is free. Oh, man. That was a nightmare. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to be putting that back on for him. Maybe. We'll see how I feel. But I just don't have the proper abilities to get in there for this bolt. So anyway, next up is the oil tank. There's a bolt right there. So it looks like there's a bolt for the oil tank. That might be a brace down there for the oil tank. Is that? That's behind something? Oh, come on, guys. Hopefully that's not part of that. So I think there's probably one here. There's probably one in behind there that I need to get to somehow or other. And of course release the 2 lines on the bottom. Alright guys, to be honest, I really wish I wasn't doing this. Okay. So we have, this is to get the oil tank off of the Harley Sportster. There's a nut on this bolt here. There's also a nut down there, which I worked to get out, and I was hoping those are the 2 nuts I had to do. Those were both not 1/2 inch. Those are both 7/16. Alright, so 7/16 there. And then, now that those are both loose, I jiggled it around a little bit and realized right there's a bolt and there's a bolt straight down. So I can tell you that there's probably 4 bolts holding this in. And to get to these 2, we have to remove the battery box and the battery. So I'm working on that. There's an adjuster here that is also a 7/16. I got that opened up. So now I can release the clip on this side. Should be able to release the clip on this side. It's still holding pretty strong. Turn this out by hand now. Okay. So she's definitely loose. We'll slide her over. Now I can release the clip on the other side. I'll swing that out of the way. The battery box top can slide off. And then I would think this cover could come off. Okay, yep, that can slide right out. It sits down in the notch there in the battery tray. And then let's pull the battery. Alright, got the battery out. There she sits. Was able to use a wrench and get the positive cable disconnected on this end. And then I used a long screwdriver to go in from that other side to disconnect the negative cable. Now, oh, there might be more than... So, I got to do this one and this one. And I hope that's it. Could be this one too. But let's try and do these 2. I think that'll do it. I think I can. I don't even know what size that is. I have all kinds of stuff out. Let's see, what's this? 1/2 inch? Let's try 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch? Hey, that fits. Alright, I'm going to do these 2 and see what happens. Well, we finally made it to the opposite side. And this little guy here had a zip tie tied to the wiring down in here. So, I had to cut that zip tie. And I did find an additional 7/16 inch screw down right in the middle there. So everything's jumbled up. But there's also that little knob there, holds what I believe to be the gas overflow. And I think that fits right onto that little knob there that goes into the frame. So I don't know where that heads, but I think, see right here? Because this sucker isn't attached to anything, so I think it actually fits onto there. There, right there. See that? Alright, so as far as that goes, the oil tank is free. I just have to remove the lines on the bottom, and then I can pull it out. But the bike is practically naked. So I'm going to paint my parts, and that's going to be it. Just if anybody ever asks you to do this job, tell them no. Tell them, take all the parts off, and I will paint them happily. So there we go. Now I just have to pull the lines off the bottom. Oh, you can't even see them now. Right in there. Take those two little clamps off. Remove the lines. Yeah, that's it. That's all. That's all I gotta do. Yay. Just when you thought things couldn't get more exciting, I fought and fought and fought to get these two lower hoses off. And come to realize that was probably the in and out, or the delivery and return to the engine. And I went ahead and took the battery box off. There was one more nut holding that on below it, because this hose right here, which I'm assuming is just a drain hose, because it's at the lowest point of the oil box, whatever, is also connected to the oil tank. So it's going to be hard to get in behind there to get that hose clamp off. So I'm just going to remove it here, pop it off here, push it off, and be done with it. And then everything is gone. Now we have a stripped down Harley Davidson. So as far as I know, these hose clamps are one-time use, because I'm not finding a way to take them off without destroying them. So I'm not going to be putting this back together, thank you. Alright, so yeah, this is the drain, because that's the hose that goes down to where we met up for the drain. So that leads down here to this T. That's the hose right there coming down. And then this is the drain that we drain the oil out of. So yeah, I'm going to remove that right there.